Ever feel like you have untapped potential? You know, like there's like a deeper level of yourself just waiting to be unlocked? Well, today we're diving into the world of initiation and spiritual evolution. And we're going to be looking at it with this fascinating perspective from Marcelo Martorelli.
Okay.
We're exploring a YouTube video of his where he lays out this roadmap for this whole journey.
And what's really intriguing about Martorelli's approach is that he breaks this really complex topic down into 3 levels of consciousness.
Okay.
Freedom, magic, and the Christic level.
Okay.
So think of it like leveling up in a video game.
I love that. Yeah.
Each level kind of unlocks new abilities and understandings.
That's a great analogy. It makes this whole concept of initiation feel way more accessible.
Yeah.
So let's start with level 1, freedom.
Okay.
What does initiation have to do with freedom?
So each initiation actually corresponds to a level of freedom.
Okay.
So the first initiation at this level is about achieving physical freedom.
Okay.
Detaching from the material world.
Right.
So imagine someone who isn't controlled by like their cravings or possessions.
Yeah.
They have a certain freedom that many people just don't.
That makes sense. So it's about breaking free from those external things that can really weigh us down.
Absolutely.
Okay. On to level 2, magic.
Okay.
What kind of magic are we talking about here?
Right.
Sounds a little, well, magical.
Well, this level is all about mastering subtle energies. And the first initiation focuses on sexual magic.
Ooh.
Now, I know that might sound a little out there, but it's not what you might initially think.
Yeah, the term sexual magic definitely caught my attention.
Right.
So tell me more.
So it's about transitioning from that basic sexual energy to sublimating it for higher purposes.
Okay.
So think about channeling that energy into creativity, spirituality, problem solving even. It's fascinating how Martorelli connects this like raw instinctual energy to our spiritual evolution.
This concept of sexual magic has me intrigued. It's not what I initially expected. Can you tell me a bit more about how it relates to spiritual evolution?
Sure. So it's about recognizing the power of this energy.
Okay.
And learning to direct it consciously. Instead of being driven by, our base desires, we can kind of transform that energy into something that fuels our personal growth.
So it's less about suppressing those desires and more about harnessing their power for a greater purpose.
Exactly.
Okay. I'm ready for level 3, the Christic level. This is where I think things are going to get really interesting.
You're right. This is where Martorelli dives into some truly mind-blowing concepts.
Okay.
But to really understand it, we need to start with this key distinction that he makes.
Okay.
The difference between Jesus and the Christ.
Okay, now I'm grappling with this a bit. Aren't they the same thing?
Right.
Help me understand this distinction.
So Martorelli sees Christ
Okay.
as this entity from the 5th kingdom of nature.
Okay.
So think about beings like angels or these higher spiritual beings.
Okay, got it.
Jesus, on the other hand, was a highly evolved human.
Okay.
Part of the 4th kingdom.
Right.
So 2 totally different levels of existence.
Okay.
The first initiation on this level is about awakening what he calls the Christic cell in our hearts.
So essentially we're talking about 2 distinct beings here.
Yes.
One human and one from this higher realm.
Yes.
And what about this Christic cell? Is that something we all have?
Yes, precisely. Imagine the Christic cell like a spiritual seed within us.
Okay.
That has the potential to grow with each initiation.
Okay.
To clarify this concept, Martorelli uses this rather striking analogy.
Okay.
He compares Christ entering Jesus to a highly evolved human entering a dog.
Whoa.
To help the species evolve.
Okay, I need a minute to process that one.
I know, it's a bit...
A human entering a dog. I'm not sure I follow.
I know, it sounds strange at first, but stick with me.
Okay.
What he's trying to convey is this idea of a being from a higher realm, like Christ, entering a lower one, like a human, to help facilitate evolution.
So is he saying that Christ used Jesus as a vessel to help humanity evolve?
Yes, you're getting it.
Okay.
It's about a being from a higher realm entering a lower one to accelerate that evolutionary process.
Okay.
Martorelli calls this adumbration.
Adumbration, okay.
And in the case of Jesus, this adumbration happened at his baptism, symbolized by the dove.
Okay, so Christ adumbrated Jesus. And what does that mean for us today? Does this adumbration have any impact on our lives?
It absolutely does. And this is where things get really impactful. Martorelli argues that through his crucifixion, which he considers the fourth initiation.
Okay.
Jesus opened his heart to all humanity. This act created something he calls morphic resonance.
Now, morphic resonance sounds pretty technical. Can you break that down for me? What does that actually mean?
Think of it this way. Because of Jesus' sacrifice,
Okay.
everyone born after that event carries a Christic cell within them.
Wow.
You carry the potential for Christ consciousness
Wow.
within you, simply by being born after this event.
That is a powerful concept. So we all have this incredible potential within us. But the big question is, what awakens this Christic cell in us? How do we tap into that potential? That's quite a revelation, to think we all carry this Christic cell within us. It makes you wonder, what would it take to awaken that potential? What are like the practical steps to activate that Christic cell?
That's where Martorelli's idea of the path of discipleship comes in.
Yeah.
But he doesn't like lay out a rigid set of rules or anything like that.
Right.
It's more about understanding the unique path each person needs to walk.
So it's less about outward actions and more about an inner transformation. I'm starting to get curious about what that looks like.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's about cultivating those Christic qualities within ourselves.
Yeah.
Compassion, forgiveness, unconditional love, and a deep sense of connection with everyone and everything around us.
I see what you mean. It's not about like forcing ourselves to be good,
Right.
but rather letting these qualities radiate from within. It sounds like a pretty profound shift in consciousness.
Exactly. And as we embody these Christic principles, they naturally start shaping our thoughts, feelings, and actions.
Yeah.
It's not about struggling to be a better person, but about allowing our true nature to shine through.
It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally acts from a place of love and compassion. But is it all up to us? I mean, is this something we can achieve solely through personal effort and willpower?
That's a great question. And Martorelli points out that the path of initiation involves more than just our individual efforts.
Okay.
He emphasizes the role of grace and the intervention of higher forces in this process.
So are you saying there's a force at play that's beyond our comprehension, something that can guide us on our spiritual journey?
Think back to that analogy of the highly evolved human entering the dog to help it evolve.
Right.
It might be a strange image, but it points to the idea that forces beyond our understanding are also at work.
It's almost like we have to do our part while also being open to guidance from something greater than ourselves. It sounds like a delicate balance.
It is. It's a dance between our own efforts and surrendering to something larger than ourselves. And that brings us back to the three levels we discussed earlier: freedom, magic, and the Christic level.
That's right. We talked about how each level of initiation brings us closer to a state of true freedom. But can you explain how these levels connect to each other?
Sure. So let's revisit that first initiation at the level of freedom,
Okay.
which is about detaching from the material world. It's about recognizing that clinging to possessions can hinder our spiritual growth.
So by releasing attachment to material things, we free ourselves from those limitations and open ourselves up to a higher way of being.
Precisely. Now think about the second level, magic. It's about understanding and harnessing the powerful forces within and around us, like sexual energy.
Right, we talked about how sexual magic is about transforming that energy and directing it towards a higher purpose instead of being controlled by it.
Exactly. And as we gain mastery over these subtle energies, we unlock even greater freedom and creative power. And finally, we reach the Christic level.
The Christic level, that's the one I'm most drawn to, yet it also feels the most mysterious. What kind of freedom awaits us at that level?
The Christic level is about embodying the qualities of the Christ, becoming a source of love, compassion, and wisdom in the world. It's about transcending the limits of our ego and experiencing a profound sense of unity and connection that's, it's hard to put into words.
That sounds like a level of freedom most of us can only dream of. Is it even attainable in this lifetime?
It's a journey that requires dedication, commitment, and a willingness to surrender to something greater than ourselves. And yeah, it can be challenging, but it's a path that's available to all of us.
As you're describing this, I keep thinking about that Christic cell we all carry. It's as if we all have the potential to become Christ-like beings.
That's a powerful insight. You're absolutely right. Martorelli's message is ultimately one of hope and empowerment. He's reminding us that we all have the potential to awaken to our true nature and embody those divine qualities that reside within us.
I'm sensing a shift within myself just by contemplating these ideas. There's a feeling of possibility that I haven't felt before.
That's the power of these concepts. They can spark something deep within us, igniting a desire to explore our own spiritual potential.
It sounds like you're saying we all have a choice to make. We can choose to remain asleep to this potential, or we can choose to actively cultivate it.
That's beautifully put. It's about recognizing that we have the power to shape our own spiritual evolution.
This conversation has been incredibly insightful. I'm eager to hear your final thoughts on Martorelli's perspective on initiation before we wrap up. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive, from those three levels, freedom, magic, and the Christic level, to this idea that we each carry a Christic cell within us.
Yeah.
What stands out to you as like the most impactful takeaway from Martorelli's work?
I think what's really striking is how he seamlessly blends ancient wisdom with a modern understanding of human potential. He's not just rehashing old ideas. He's offering this fresh perspective on what it means to live like a spiritually awakened life, today.
Yeah, it's definitely resonating with me. He's speaking to that deep yearning within us for connection, purpose, and something greater than ourselves. And, while listening to you talk about the Christic cell, I can't help but wonder what our world would look like if we all just nurtured that seed within us.
Oh, that's such a beautiful and profound question to consider. Imagine a world where compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love were the driving forces behind our actions. What if we truly grasped the interconnectedness of all beings and acted accordingly?
Right.
It might seem idealistic.
Yeah.
But I really believe it's a vision worth striving for.
It's a vision that fills me with hope, and I think that's the essence of Martorelli's message, hope for ourselves, for humanity, and for the future. He's not just presenting a theory, he's offering a path forward, a way to tap into our highest potential.
Absolutely. He's challenging us to step outside our comfort zones, question our assumptions, and embrace a more expansive way of being. It's about recognizing that each of us has a role to play in the evolution of consciousness, both individually and collectively.
That brings us back to the listener. What would you say to someone who's feeling inspired by these ideas but unsure where to begin?
I would encourage them to start by exploring those Christic qualities that we've been discussing. Compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love.
Right.
Ask yourself, how can I bring more of these qualities into my daily life? Even small acts of kindness, moments of mindful awareness or willingness to extend forgiveness can make a difference.
Yeah, it's about taking those internal shifts we've been exploring and translating them into tangible actions. It's about recognizing that our spiritual growth isn't just a personal pursuit. It ripples outward, impacting the world around us.
Exactly. And as we awaken to our own Christic potential, we contribute to the awakening of humanity as a whole. It's an ongoing process, a journey of self-discovery and transformation.
What a beautiful and inspiring note to end on. This deep dive into Martorelli's work has been truly transformative. I'm walking away with a renewed sense of hope and a deeper understanding of my own spiritual potential.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, dear listener, the journey of initiation isn't a solitary one. We're all in this together, walking the path toward a brighter future, one step at a time.
That's a thought I'll carry with me. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey of exploration. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep seeking the truth that lies within.